Welcome back at 724. Issues of overtime, certainly a hot topic at the U.S. Supreme Court due to some recent rulings against drug companies.
And joining us with what that means for you, we have Rick Piiponis from the Higgins firm. Now, this is really talking about pharmaceutical reps. They were working, they weren't being paid overtime. Now they want their money.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a big group. There are probably 2,500 or so claims that fell into this. It's a collective action, and they sued the pharmaceutical company saying that they don't fall under the exception of everyone's entitled to overtime except for people that are accepted from it. And one of those exceptions is outside sales reps.
Okay.
So they've always been treated by pharmaceutical companies as, hey, this is an outside sales rep, so they don't have to be paid overtime. But they don't, atypical from any other kind of salesperson, they don't really sell anything.
Right.
They're not selling the drugs. They're just out kind of making good relationships with the doctors, getting them to prescribe the drugs, but they can't directly sell those drugs.
Okay.
So they didn't, that's their argument. And the industry has said, hey, this is how we've treated them as salespeople for years and years and years and years. But that's not really the case. So
as an attorney, do they have a case? Do they have a legitimate case?
They do now.
Yeah.
You know, the Supreme Court, an appellate court had said, you're right. You're not selling anything. You're entitled to overtime pay. You don't fall under the exception as an outside salesperson. Right. So yes, you're entitled to overtime. Now there are some courts, like there's a court in San Francisco that has sided with the drug companies, which not very surprising. A lot of the drug companies based there, and it's you know they have some political clout there. So it's but you know, as of right now, the Supreme Court declined to hear the one where the appellate court said, yes, you have a case.
Okay.
Which means, you know, the Supreme Court, in a sense, gave its blessing to it.
Interesting. Okay, so we're going to continue to watch it because I think overall this will probably impact other cases, not necessarily dealing with drug companies, but other cases where employees felt like they were entitled to overtime and then weren't paid it, right? Well,
yeah. I mean, it does some help to kind of define what that exception is,
right.
What outside sales people are. So if you've got a job where you're out kind of promoting goodwill and they've classified you as a salesperson to stop you from paying overtime, because some of these, you know, with these pharmaceutical reps, some of them work 70, 80 hours a week because they're off, they're having dinners with people, they're off doing what they can to promote that drug, and they get paid well to do it, but they're not getting paid what they're supposed to be getting paid.
It's important what you say, clearly defined.
Yes.
I think that's important.
All right, well, if you have questions to our legal eagles, you can contact the Higgins firm, 1-800-705-2121, online, thehigginsfirm.com, or if you like, you can send your questions to us, Tennessee Mornings at fox17.com. Let's check in with Craig now to see what's happening in weather.